That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my
balls keep
telling me to let me Fuck all that shit, just let me go.
Yeah, broadcasting live from Florida. Badass, did you broadcast it all alone, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Tommy C. It's Shot for the Point. I got a very special Shot for the Point today. Chris Poole was kind enough to allow me to interview him over his recent drama with his brother. It's kind of taken the internet by storm, to say the least. Chris, how are you? Or would you rather me call you Reactor? I don't know.
No, I'm Chris Poole. I'm not playing a character.
No character. That's one of the things I definitely want to get out of the way right now. That this isn't. You are known for your, in my opinion, like brilliant satire, especially with the grade A under A stuff. Me and Nick are huge fans of Culero and everything else. But this is. I need you to state, like, this is not an attempt at satire.
No,
and make it
actually, I've
clear.
never admitted that Reactor is just a character I play anywhere. I would never admit that, but at this point, it is a character I play, and that is not what I'm doing.
Gotcha. I'm gonna cut the music completely. I want to get right into it because the mic. I just want to make sure there's no interference. So let me get this straight to everybody. I've actually known about this for months. So if this is some kind of joke, not only is Reactor in on it, Quartering's in on it. It's not somebody I get along with, and Tim Poole himself would be in on it. So I want to make this 100% clear that this is not any kind of goof. Right? I know you took issue with the title a little bit. It says that you're owed upwards of 100K. You say that's not exactly the case.
No,
what, in your opinion, does Tim owe you?
Yeah, I'm legally owed 33%. Because it's not legal to another state make a new corporation with the intellectual property.
We're having an audio problem right now. I need you to go to audio. I need you to go to user settings, voice and video, and get rid of automatically term and sensitivity input. I need you to turn that off and then pull it all the way back because half of your conversation is getting cut off.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Is this better?
I hope so. I hope don't let it automatically pick up. Just pull the bar all the way to the left. Keep the channel completely open because the threshold you were getting cut out on the microphone. All right. Let me ask the question again. What are you owed by your brother?
I believe I'm owed 33% because that's what I own of the business that we started.
And what business is that?
Submersed LLC.
Submersed LLC. Now, was that business you were in ever incorporated officially?
I started Submersed as a sole proprietorship. I never incorporated until I brought Tim and Emily in. And once there were more people involved, we needed to make an LLC.
Okay, you make it an LLC. Now, what did you do for Submersed?
After the LLC,
what were your responsibilities before? Well, if it got incorporated, but they incorporated it up until the point, because you're claiming they kind of incorporated it in Connecticut behind your back. Yeah. They took the same name of the company and they incorporated, and I don't think that's actually in question. I don't think I don't think, at least according to Quartering's last video, that's not even in question. What's in question is where really what you're accused of is not doing anything for the company. That's why they were able to do it. Is that true? Did you do nothing?
No, it's absolutely not true. One of the problems was that Tim had convinced me that because Reactor was such a dark comedy brand, that if he became the frontman for Submersed, then he didn't want me soiling or connecting Reactor to something he was connected to. And
I got you.
I rolled with that. I was like, yeah, you're right, man. I don't want to do anything to hurt you. I don't want to connect you to, the shit I've done on my Reactor channel, which is pretty crazy,
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like, what kind of work? Because, he's basically saying he did nothing.
It is a little complicated, and I'll start from the beginning. Just to show the full story. It seems like a lot of people aren't are picking what they want to hear, but
sure.
okay.
We got all the time in the world. We're going to go over all of it. If you have any problem with what I'm saying, you have all the time in the world to respond. I'm not. Nobody's playing gotcha here.
In 2017, Tim announced on his YouTube channel that he was going to be involved in Submersed that his brother started, and it had hundreds of thousands of unique monthly viewers before he even joined it, and that was me, running this website and marketing it. And Tim decided he wanted to be a part of it. Once he was no longer working for Fusion, he, announced he was going to be part of it, and he got this guy he knew named Taylor Beacom to rebuild the website, because I'm not a web developer.
Gotcha.
I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm not a master of web development.
One thing.
It was just something I could do. I'm actually a content creator.
I got you, but you don't have like a degree in it or anything.
Yeah. So this guy Taylor told us that he could make a better website, and I was like, hell yeah, sure. That's what we need. We need a better website, because this is kind of just like what I can do. It turns out, like 4 months later, after giving him control of the domain so that he could build this thing, he erased everything I had previously built and uploaded a WordPress theme, which was like, it turns out I was a better web developer than he was.
Okay.
So now basically the website I had created was reset, and I had to rebuild it, and it had no content now because it was all deleted. All this content that had, hundreds of thousands of views. And so then Tim convinced his friend Emily Molly to move to New Jersey. Well, okay, back up a little bit. I was living in Chicago, October 2017. Tim convinced me to move to New Jersey to do this, bring him into Submersed and build Submersed together with him.
Sure.
He told me he could find investors, and I would make the content and market it. And all the content got deleted. He ended up getting his friend Emily Molly to move in with us in New Jersey, and we decided on a deal where she would get 5% of the equity of Submersed if she populated the website with filler content, while I was making my high quality, content that I could market really well and get a lot of views, just so that the site had life, because I can only make so many high quality pieces, a day or, a week. But she ended up not posting anything to the website the entire time. And the role I had, ended up with was just maintaining the website so that she could post content to it. Okay. And then Tim was going to find investors. So she ended up never posting anything to the website. So it just kind of sat there fully operational with no content and nothing for me to do other than pay the bills for the web hosting and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the website ended up getting neglected. Every time I brought it up to Tim, he was like, talk to Emily. And I don't know Emily that well. Okay. It's Tim's friend. So it's not like I can yell at her. So
is it safe for me to say you were just waiting for Tim to find investors for this site? Yeah, so you weren't doing a hell of a lot because there wasn't a hell of a lot to do. Yeah. Is that correct?
The sales pitch Tim gave me was, if I moved out to New Jersey with him, I wouldn't have to pay rent. Okay. And then once he found investors, I would have a budget to make, because I make viral videos with like a $25 budget. And once we found investors, if I had a $20,000 budget to make a viral video, it would get, so many views.
So at that point, was it incorporated? At that point, before it went to Connecticut, before it became incorporated in Connecticut, was Submersed, was it incorporated by anybody at that point? Before things went wrong?
Once Tim and Emily joined me in January of 2018, we filed for an LLC in New Jersey.
Did you get it?
Yes, I have the documents.
You have the documents to support that? Okay.
Yeah. And we were operating as this LLC. What ended up happening was, so we were giving Emily 5% to make content. She never really did it, but she was making 1 or 2 YouTube videos a month for the YouTube channel that I created when I started Submersed. Submersed had a YouTube channel, a Twitter account, and other social media. And she was posting videos to our Submersed YouTube channel. And she wasn't doing it for money until the summer, where she started complaining and saying she wasn't going to do it anymore because she wanted money. So Tim started paying her out of his pocket, which I thought was weird because, why is she a 5% owner if she's an employee now? But again, she was Tim's friend and Tim was paying her out of his pocket. So I didn't complain. And then that summer of 2018 is also when Tim realized that if he just read news articles, he had way more money coming in from YouTube money. Yeah. So yeah, like January of 2018, Tim was making like maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a month from his YouTube channel.
Pretty good.
Once he started his second channel where he read news articles, that went up very fast. The first month he was probably making like 20K, then he went to 30K the next month. Eventually by January of 2019, he was making like 80K a month.
Gotcha.
So I mean, that also adds to the timeline. Like he wasn't a millionaire when we started this together, when I brought him in, you know, he needed, like I was almost an equal because I could market the hell out of stuff and he had 180 subscribers.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. I think we're getting away because I want to get back to the corporation because as far as what you're entitled to legally. Now, you said all three of you incorporated it, and at some point, I'm trying to make this simple, stupid for the audience and myself.
Yes.
They, with the owner of Minds, incorporated something called Submersed, something completely different, but you were left out of it. Is that correct?
Yes. So we're operating with an LLC, and then June 5th of 2019, they formed Submersed as an S Corp in Connecticut. They went to a different state. Okay. And now the LLC had this YouTube channel, the website, the Twitter account, all the stuff that we had been working on. Okay. But now somehow this new corporation owned all that.
Let me ask you something. Emily was a part owner in both the Submersed you were involved in and both of the Submersed that you were not involved in. Is that correct?
Same amount of ownership. It's why I believe it's the exact same business, same property, same name, same logo, same ownership,
same anything, absolute same everything. Okay, but you weren't involved in the second one. I'm going to propose something to you. Is it possible that you have no standing in court because they did it behind your back? I mean, is there anything you can do about this? Because I don't know how much YouTube drama is going to help you other than, you guys getting a mudslinging fest. Because if your name isn't on there, if you don't have some kind of proof, that you were a part of the company that's actually worth money, what standing do you have, do you think? How do you think that you can get paid? Well, I mean, other than your brother's goodwill?
Because if we go to court, it's my understanding, I'm not a lawyer, but I've talked to attorneys. You can't just have a business partner and legally remove them by making a new corporation and moving all the property over. Okay.
All right. I don't want to comment on that one way or another because I'm not a lawyer either, and my understanding of this stuff is very limited. So, all right. I don't think there's any. I mean, this is going to be up to the audience to decide. It does. You feel that you did the work that you were entitled to, and then they just kind of went on your back. They kept the name. They started something new, and they said sayonara. Now, there are messages out there. This being probably one of the most important, where you seem to on June 20th, 2019, you actually kind of give up on Submersed. This was mentioned in Jeremy's video not an hour ago, and this is what you write. You can have Submersed.net if you still want it. I'm not paying any more or having anything to do with it. I got mad because you yelled at me in public, but I was actually mad that you didn't include me, and I knew the domain was useless. It was only getting 30 views a day or less. I felt like I was just pretending to be useful. If you still want it, let me know, but I'm not going to pay for this stuff anymore. And then he says, Bill and Emily wanted, past tense, your help. And you can just tell me when I need to pay you. Now, the first question here is, like, he's offering to pay you.
Well, no. The first question is, this picture clearly shows that I'm paying business expenses for the new business that I'm no longer an owner for.
Okay. And you're saying you're not. Then explain, why does he want to pay you? I guess he's going to pay you for the other domain, correct?
I actually don't remember.
Okay. Because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like you're paying for the old domain, and you're like, fuck this, I'm not going to pay it anymore if you're not going to include me with the company, which would make sense.
Because Submersed LLC used Submersed.net email accounts. Okay. And when they made a new corporation without me being an owner, Submersed Incorporated was using the exact same emails because, in my opinion, it's the same company. How do you use the same everything And I was still, and I had to pay like $100 a month for the company to have email accounts with G Suite. And I believe what he was saying here is because on June 5th, I was no longer an owner, he would reimburse me for the email G Suite payments I'd made.
Okay. All right. All I had was, this is you, all I had was the domain, and they were talking about moving the articles to Minds. He responds, I'm sorry for getting mad and yelling. I didn't mean to be a dick. Bill and Emily want you to run the written stuff, Minds or Subverse. So it sounds like they want you to be about a part of the project at this point. Do you have any comment on that? They still want you to be a part of this project.
The problem here is they're using this to prove that I gave up my rights to the business. But what this really is they, behind my back, made a new corporation without me to remove me as the owner. And then I find out and they say, but we still want you to be an employee. We still want you to do the work for us. And me saying...
But it doesn't make sense, because if they're saying you never did shit, why do they still want you to work?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They want me to continue to do the work that
does look a little strange. But at the same time, if you didn't know the nuance, if you didn't realize that there was two different Subverse, and the second one was incorporated without you, you might come to this like, fuck it, I give up. That's how you might come to this. But that's your story. Tim, but I tell you something. I talked to your brother today, just to be fair. He's saying this is evidence of you throwing it up. Now, I'm not making a judgment one way or another, but it does look like that in the service. I think it can go either way.
And I've understood that from the start, that he thinks that it's a new company.
Okay. This is a brand new company. You're saying it's a brand new company.
Yeah, this is a brand new company, and we didn't include you, so you don't own it.
Okay,
that's what I'm arguing against.
I got you. I got that loud and clear. I still don't like that Emily is now a co-founder of Subverse, even if it's a different Subverse. So that's consistent with what you're telling me. It feels shitty. I don't want anything to do with it anymore. I'm poor and I need to focus on making Reactor profitable. Subverse is just a distraction. I could just redirect subverse.net to the Minds page if you want. He writes back, you're still a co-founder, but Emily is working 14-hour days. If you want to be involved, I can have a bill transfer everything to his accounts. At any rate, I can send you money for any project that you need a budget or hiring. But we need to transfer the G Suite, I guess. I don't know what the G Suite is. I'm not sure. But it does. I think he's kind of telling you that you didn't work and she's working harder than you. That she's working 14-hour days and you were just kind of sitting around chilling.
Well, Emily was definitely doing more work than me. But what they don't seem to be telling people is that in February of 2019, Bill from Minds.com, Bill Ottman, I don't know the specifics of it because the money never went through Subverse as a business. It went directly into Tim and Emily's personal bank accounts, as far as I know. But he was paying $20,000 a month. Tim was taking 12 and Emily was taking 8 to promote Minds on our Subverse YouTube channel. So if I was getting $8,000 a month, I'd be doing way more work than them, or at least the same amount. But I was losing money. I was paying hosting fees. I was paying the G Suite bills, and I wasn't getting paid. So, I was in the background losing money.
And Emily was getting paid, according to you.
While Tim and Emily, and Tim was making $50,000 from YouTube per month, from his YouTube channel a month, and he was getting $12,000 now from Minds. And that's where I came up with the whole Bill paid $100,000 to be owner, because for 5 months they received $20,000 a month, and then suddenly Bill is replaced me as owner of the business.
You know that you're an excellent manipulator of Reddit. You and your brother have done a video on how to manipulate Reddit. Your most famous video is a Monkey Jones video where you were able to manipulate a grade A under A. Did you use any of those skills to manipulate Reddit to promote any of Tim's projects?
Yeah, that's actually, I have tons of messages on Facebook where he sends me his video and then I boost it up to the front page. A lot of people used to ask on Reddit, like, why is Tim on front page every week? What is going on here?
That was you. And you're claiming that was you, 100%.
Yeah. Maybe not every time. It didn't make the front page every time, but people were asking questions like...
And that was his main channel, Timcast, correct?
Yeah, and actually, it's my understanding that the numbers that I gave him by posting them on Facebook or on Reddit is what he used to sell himself as an influencer to Vice and Fusion, and that's why they he was like, look at all my numbers. People love me. And they said, you're hired. So then he went with that.
So
And
you feel personally responsible. That kind of manipulation. I don't know if that's legal or not, by the way.
Well,
That kind of manipulation,
no,
you think that's what that brought Tim to the prominence he has. And
well, no. I'm not taking away from Tim's work ethic. He has been making videos every day for years. You know,
yeah.
a couple days.
Well, let me ask you straight out: Does he become as big as he is without that Reddit manipulation? I mean, that's worth its weight in gold.
No, I definitely think Tim could have gotten to where he is without my help, but I just gave it a little, turbo boost.
Mm-hmm. Okay, turbo boost. All right, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, some of the accusations that are against you are that the second Submersed, I guess, brought in $1.3 million. Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay.
1.2 for investors.
1.2 from investors, $1.2 million. And that's the only time you ever got interested in it. Is that true?
No, that's absolutely not true.
When did that? Let me ask you something. When did that money come through? I mean, because we could look at.
I don't know anything about that money, or all I know is that there's a public website where they raised the money.
Okay. So public. So they raised $1.2 million for Submersed. But that was the one that was incorporated without you, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So we do. I don't know it. I don't have a date. If one of my news guys want to send me a date, let me check my DMs real quick. I would really appreciate any of my news team could send me a date when they got that money, because I mean that could either it would just keep the story going, because I got to be honest with you, if the date on this is 6/20/19, I mean, did they get the money on 6/19/19 and all of a sudden you got interested? I mean, that we're not gonna find that out.
August. It was after, and it's not why I became interested.
Okay.
At the time of these DMs where I gave up and said, all right, fine, I'm not gonna because my only options were to hurt Tim and go public, or let Tim have his success. The business I created was still doing very well, and I was like, I guess that's kind of a win, let Tim have it. And, my only choice is to hurt him, and I don't want to do that. So I'll just, I'll move along, and Tim's success is still,
sure. Your success,
great. Well, not really my success, but, that's still a win for me.
Well, you're expecting, I imagine you're going to, you felt like you helped him, that you thought, you're not.
No, well, I mean, not even that, but my whole life, I've always done what I could to help Tim, be successful.
Gotcha.
Almost like it was one of my focuses. And I'm not saying that's all I care about, but it's no, if Tim needed help with something, yeah, I would definitely, I want Tim to do great things. I don't know.
All right. So you didn't get interested. Quartering did point something out that I found it interesting, that you posted yesterday, that this isn't about the money. Yet it does seem to be about the money. Do you want to answer that? Because I found that a little peculiar myself. I mean, you're saying, to me, I don't think it's even unfair to say this is about money, because I did this work, and if I hadn't manipulated Reddit, if I haven't done these things, I'm owed a part of this second Submersed that I was cut out of. Why are you now saying it's not about money?
I mean, I've never cared about money. I really haven't. I guess could say I'm smart enough to be comfortable, whether I'm, working my ass off or not doing anything, I just don't care about money. I just want to be happy. And Tim's more money driven than I am. So that's why I didn't really care. I do not care about the money. The problem I have is that I am part of this business, and they broke laws to remove my ownership. And I feel like I lost a brother.
Gotcha.
To be honest, dude, I'm kind of over it now. Tim's not my brother anymore, but it's pretty bad. When you think about, I thought I don't really want to get into that.
Well,
I would have taken a bullet for my brother, and now I know he wouldn't have done that for me. I would have let him step on my face if it would save us or save him from getting out of quicksand, and he would do the same thing by stepping on my face if it could save him from getting out of quicksand.
That's how you feel about your brother. I mean, it's a pretty serious stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. I mean, I approached you, or you approached me in January, and I begged you not to do this, because I could tell you where this is going. And I'll tell you right now, you could still lose, and Tim could lose a whole lot too. I wish there was just some way to fix this. But I fear, just from talking to you both today, there's absolutely no way to fix this. I hate to see this. I hate to see what this is doing to your family. It's absolutely horrid. But again, I'm really trying to stay neutral and get both sides out there. But I am going to get to some of the more sordid stuff right now. Kim gave me permission to talk about absolutely everything anything I wanted to, except he did request that we stay away from your immediate family, which I think is a completely reasonable express. But he wanted me to bring up that he kicked you out of the house for how, as he phrased it, abusing your dog. Apparently, your dog was some kind of spinal accident, and you needed $8,000 to get this dog fixed, and he's claiming that when the dog got fixed, you completely ignored it, and it would shriek and yell and scream and cry, and be while you played World of Warcraft. Is there any truth to that? Did you get kicked out of the house because you were abusing your dog or didn't take care of it after surgery?
I moved out of the house. Tim probably wanted me out of the house. But what actually happened was I used to, every night I would call my dog into my room and he would sleep on my bed. But every once in a while, when I called him, he was like already sleeping and didn't feel like running up the stairs. So he would just not come, and I'd be like, all right, see you in the morning. I would close my door. So one morning, that was what happened. And someone, probably Tim, knocked on my door and said, Dingo can't walk. So I wake up and I'm looking, and he's like having trouble moving his hind legs. And as someone who, I don't have a shitload of money. Like at this point, this was months after I had lost Submersed, and like I said in my GoFundMe.
So you continued to live with your brother after June of 2019. When did you actually get kicked out? Because you're saying you left. He's telling me you got kicked out because of this dog.
I left in mid-January, and I'm not sure what he wants to say. But what happened was my dog couldn't walk, and like any, I feel, normal person who isn't a millionaire, I hoped for the best and thought maybe he hurt his butt. I'm going to wait this out before I rush him to the vet and pay $1,000 for something. Towards the end of the night, he still wasn't better, so we took him to the ER, and turns out he had a spinal injury, and then Tim ended up paying for the surgery. But, yeah, it's true.
You asked, he helped you out. I mean, we all know that's the case.
And I appreciate that, but and I was still friends with him after that. Mm-hmm. What ended up happening, though, that made me never want to speak to him again is this was a really hard time for me. Like the veterinarian had told me my dog wasn't going to live more than like 3 years. I was dealing with that. Every night I was sleeping next to my dog on the living room floor because my room was upstairs, and I didn't want to carry him up down the stairs because they would just complicate the healing process. But the vet had also told me not to, I could have sat next to him quietly, letting him sleep, 24/7. Mm. But I didn't want to bother him. I wanted him to be bored, and I wanted him to only want to sleep. So I would like leave him alone every 4 hours. I would feed him, take care of him. I would, like every 4 hours I had to carry him outside and hold his butt up so he could go to the bathroom and stuff like that. I wasn't like playing with him all day or sitting next to him all day because I wanted him to be bored. So Tim looked at that and said, as me abusing him and ignoring him, when Tim, who had a normal sleep schedule at that time, didn't understand that I was only sleeping 3 hours at a time, so I could wake up, carry him outside, help him go to the bathroom, squeezing his bladder, extremely depressed because my dog, just went through this horrible thing. And to this day, I still don't even know how he hurt his spine. Okay. I don't think anyone purposely hurt him, but he liked to sleep above or at the top of the stairs, and it was dark. And my best guess would be that someone in the dark kicked him down the stairs by accident. And I don't blame him for not admitting it if that's the case, because it wouldn't help the situation if it was an accident.
Do you think your brother accidentally kicked your dog? Is that what you're saying?
No.
I want to be clear about that.
No, because my brother, his room was downstairs, and they would have, be going from upstairs to downstairs in the dark. But,
what did the doctor say about the dog? I just want to be clear why I'm using the word kicked.
They just said spinal injury. They can't really say what it was, but because my dog's breed isn't prone to having like spinal disease, that it was just most likely a traumatic injury.
Did your doctor think that this dog was assaulted or kicked in any way? Was that his belief? I mean, that was his best guess, I could say.
Well, they said it was either a traumatic injury or like falling downstairs, or he has degenerative spinal disease.
Okay, so the doctor couldn't say the doctor couldn't say for sure that the dog was assaulted even by accident. Okay,
he didn't have like a boot print on it or anything.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Because I was under a different impression. Here's the thing. I have to stick up for your brother and take his side, but I'm going to repeat what I was told. He said that you were supposed to spend all your time with the dog, and you were supposed to be with it almost every second of the day, as per orders from the dog's doctor, and you shirked that to put him away or down the stairs. And you played video games as the dog would scream and yell and just make everybody crazy. Are you denying that, or are you?
No. I am denying it, but I guess I'm not denying that. I did other things. I did play video games. Because like I said in my GoFundMe, I became really depressed and gave up on life, and I literally played World of Warcraft 20 hours a day.
Did you not do what the doctor told you to do with the dog?
I did everything the doctor told me.
You did everything
here's another thing, and this is why I stopped talking to Tim. One day while my dog was sleeping, it started making noise while Tim was trying to sleep, and crawled maybe 5 or 6 feet away from the bed where I had him sleeping, and he went towards Tim's room, and he started making noise and woke Tim up. So Tim started screaming at the top of his lungs in mid-December. You can actually look, he lost his voice in mid-December, and he actually blamed me for not being able to make 3 days of YouTube videos.
Actually, I remember the videos around Christmas. He said his voice was a little shot. I do remember that.
Yeah, he lost his voice because he was yelling so loud that my dog woke him up. My dog, who just had surgery 2 days prior, that I was freaking out about, hoping to God that he was going to be okay. And that's why he lost his voice. The next day, my dog wouldn't eat. He was shaking all day, and I was even more terrified that the surgery was, becoming a complication and not helping. So I rushed into the ER, and they told me, no, he's okay. He's just, just shaking.
Yeah.
And then that's when I connected it. If Tim wasn't losing his voice screaming 2 feet away from my dog for waking him up,
well, he's saying that's he told me that's why he's kicked you out of the house, because he felt like that was abuse, and and he told me that you guys had a real terrible fight, and that's why he kicked you out. You're saying you left because things were just out of control. He's saying he said get out of the house, and I imagine that was the house in New Jersey.
I stopped talking to him after that.
You just stopped talking to him,
and I wanted badly to leave that house and move back to Chicago.
All right, I just want to make this sure that Chris is saying he left, he went home, and Tim is saying he threw you out for abusing your dog. That's what I'm saying. It's obviously,
it's
all right. Obviously, either somebody's lying or you guys aren't talking, and you have extremely different views of the whole thing. I can't imagine what it was like to live there. Let me because I mean we got really through almost all of it. I'm surprised it went as quick as it does. I got to ask you something else. You've started another Subverse, and I have to ask you, in this situation, is this really a good idea? This is a Subverse that you've made. It looks exactly like.
I didn't actually just make it. This is
you just started posting videos to it 2 days ago.
Yeah, when I created the Subverse channel, I had multiple YouTube channels. The one that Tim is now using was the main one, and it actually, if you can go to the Subverse News YouTube channel right now, so we could
Subverse,
so I can show you guys something.
Okay, Subverse News. Okay.
So, yeah,
and
then go to videos and then look at the oldest videos.
Okay.
No, not this one. Go to Tim's Subverse YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how do I differentiate? How do I
Yeah.
differentiate?
Go to videos and then go to oldest first.
Wait a minute.
No,
Okay,
yeah.
you got feature. You do it a feature channel Submersed News.
Yeah, you're on the wrong channel, I think.
Yeah, I know, because I want to talk. I want to talk about
Oh,
this
it's on the
channel.
side.
I want to talk about this
right.
channel. I want to talk about this channel. I'm aware
Yeah,
of
okay,
your other
okay.
channel. Is it really a good look to make a separate channel? And
I mean,
it does seem a bit petty.
Business.
It does seem a bit petty that you're doing this. I mean, you're trying to earn enough money so you can take your brother to court. Is it really a good idea to play these kind of sort of childish games?
I mean, it's not really a childish game. I'm a 33% owner of Submersed. If Tim wants to sue me for infringing on his copyright, he's free to do that.
I don't think that's it. Apparently, you still have the original Subverse Facebook site, and you still maintain control of that. And you're leading people from that Facebook site, and that's the older one, to this and sending traffic over here. And it just looks like to me, and me explain this to me. I understand you own the old Subverse number 1. We're going to call it Subverse number 1 and Subverse number 2 so people don't understand. And just to let everybody in the audience know, Subverse number 1 was incorporated with Chris, Tim, and Emily. And then in June of 2019, Tim, Emily, and the owner of Minds.com, which is somewhat like Twitter, incorporated the same name and took all the assets and moved them over there without Tim as a co-owner. So
without Chris as a co-owner.
That was Chris. Excuse me. It's so I really apologize. It's tough. I've been doing Chris and Tim all day. I do apologize. Okay, but I mean, I understand you have the right to do this, but doesn't it look a little petty? You know what I mean? If you could you explain this to me?
I don't know. I just wanted to make Subverse videos. I wanted to make videos, okay. And I still own 33% of the business, and there's nothing really.
All right, that's
I didn't do anything. I didn't make any videos that were like.
No. I actually watched them. They look like legitimate news videos. It wasn't like you're making fun of your brother or doing something petty. But I wanted to bring that up. I mean, this is, I think your brother. I don't think anybody can prove that you did or didn't do any work. It does seem weird that you started this company, and there was obviously some kind of problem. They wanted to move forward, and they wanted to move forward without you, and they kept the same name with the new company. And I got to be honest with you, I feel for you, Chris. I really do. That doesn't seem like the nicest thing to do in the world. But on the other hand, I don't know if it's illegal. I'm certainly not a lawyer, and I don't know if you have a chance in hell. I think the only thing you can do is plead your case to the public and say that, and that just turns into sort of a, I've been doing this drama thing a minute, kind of a mud throwing contest between brothers. And it's going to be awful tough because your brother's very, very established, and he seems to be, he seems to be, he has access to a lot of YouTubers. So I just don't know if that's a good idea. I think I think you should be quiet about this and take this legal angle. You know what I mean?
Well, I did, and I started a GoFundMe on like February 5th. Didn't mention any names. I didn't want to hurt Tim's reputation. I just wanted, and before that, I even sent a message to Subverse saying, "Hey, can I get something to walk away with that was equal to my 33% of ownership when you guys cut me out?" And that's when Tim called my mom saying I was extorting him, and the feds were going to kick my door down and steal my computers, and I was going to go to prison if I don't stop this. And so
Jeremy is upright threatened you on his channel saying if you keep this up that you're going to end up in jail. And that brings me to something that I can talk about because your brother did. Your brother is claiming that you're not only extorting him, but you're extorting an unnamed company that he couldn't go into, and he said there was legal reasons that he couldn't go into it. No. Is that true? Are you committing extortion?
I'm absolutely not extorting Minds.com, and I don't care about Minds.com. The only connection is that the Bill Ottman, who is a founder of Minds.com, is the one who replaced me as an owner of Subverse when they made a new corporation.
Have you written threatening letters to this unnamed company, your brother, or anybody else that might be affiliated? Have you read any kind of incriminating for threatening letters?
No. I've always been, you know, up until the other day when I just kind of hit a breaking point. Like this is, I'm done caring. I've always been like polite, saying, "Hey, can we talk about this? Maybe, you know, getting my equity so that I can completely disconnect myself from Submersed." And Bill had emailed me from a Minds email account. So when I went to email Bill, it was his Minds email account instead of the bill@submersed.net. I emailed bill@minds.com, and I suppose that's why they're saying I involved.
Did you threaten him? Did you threaten him?
No, absolutely never threatened anyone. Like,
did you tell somebody you were going to end them or end their company?
What?
I'm just asking. I told you.
Not.
Look, I'm telling you this because this is what I've been told. Here's the thing. I gave you everything I had. I didn't think it was fair. I was not going to play gotcha. I don't think it was fair. I told Tim how I thought you were going to argue, and I showed you everything that Tim showed me prior, just for full disclosure. I don't have any evidence of that, but this is what I've been told. Did you extort another company? Did you threaten people? That's pretty much what I'm asking.
I absolutely never threatened anyone. I've been as polite as possible, asking if we can like resolve this, and yeah, absolutely never threatened anyone. I'm smart enough to know that if I'm trying to take someone to court, threatening them isn't going to help my case.
Okay. No, I don't think it would at all. But I have to ask it because like I said, I talked to your brother for a long time, and you know, I promised him that I would question you as fairly and as humanly possible, and you have answered my questions. So, you know, that's pretty much it. That's all the. I just go through my notes. I know this is very unprofessional, but domain name.
I mean, there's another thing I want to point out. Like, I don't know if you have the image, but I posted a picture. It was June 5th, 2019, when they incorporated in Connecticut without me.
Oh, yeah.
And I have Facebook group chat photos, like screenshots, showing that I'm the person who made the thumbnail for the Submersed News YouTube video that day, 6/5/19, the day that they claim I wasn't doing anything, so they removed me from the business.
Okay, so you're saying that you made them something that, you know, and they took it and made a separate business with it. Do you have that?
Even when Tim,
let me go to actually, let me get. Is that on Twitter? Because I can go there right now.
I could send it to you on Twitter DM right now.
No, you don't have to. Or just scroll down.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you can send it to me. Send it to me in the DM here, and I'll pull it up on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just send it DM me.
But yeah, I was absolutely doing work
right here right now. Okay.
In April, when Tim was on Reactor Law, doing a live stream with them, he clearly says my brother founded it. He does stuff behind the scenes. He's absolutely involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody's denying that. What happened is they made another company. You're not a part of it, and they say because you're not a part of it, you're not entitled to anything. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, and it seems I tell you something. It seems awful rough to do that to a brother. Now I can't say whether you worked or you didn't work. He's claiming you didn't do shit, and that's why they did it, or they were planning to do it. That's something that Tim's going to have to answer to. Yeah, it does seem extremely rough.
They were getting paid $20,000 a month.
I'll tell you this. I tell you this. I'm a bastard. If my brother wasn't working as ferociously as I was, and I didn't, and I thought he was holding me back, I'd incorporate another company and move on if it came down to it. But it would have to be pretty serious for me to do something like that. You know what I mean?
Tim was never doing any work for Submersed. Tim was working his ass off for his corporations, Timcast.
Okay.
You know, he makes a lot of videos every day for his, you know, but meanwhile, Emily was making videos for Submersed, and Tim's involvement was basically talking to investors like Bill to bring him in.
Gotcha.
And that, you know, that's the extent of his work. I don't know how difficult you want to call that.
Yeah. You know, there seems to be, that's another thing I want to bring up. Bill says he never gave Tim $100,000. Do you believe that?
So yeah, like I said, I guess that there's a slight semantics problem here, because what I'm saying is for 5 months, he paid Minds.com, where Bill paid Tim $20,000 a month for 5 months. So after $100,000, he became an owner. And I don't know I don't know how.
So are you saying that he bought in for $100K? Because he's saying he didn't give Chris a dime. That's at least what he told.
Like it,
or that's what he told the quarter. He told the quartering that that is not the case.
Yeah, I actually have no idea. I would have to take him to court and request all the financial, information.
All right, that's fair enough.
And which is my plan. I hope that.
I'd be happy. I would be happy to tweet out. If you first of all, send me that a tweet you wanted. Please put it in the DMs here in Discord. And then if you want me to send me GoFundMe, I'd be happy to tweet it out, and people can make come to their own decision whether they want to help you fund it or not. I have no problem doing that. But I need you to send me that tweet so we can all look at it.
Which tweet? The picture of me with the thumbnail?
Well, the Twitter thing you wanted me to see, and then you could send me the GoFundMe.
Well, I sent you a photo of when I was doing the thumbnail the very day that they cut me out, and I just linked you to the GoFundMe. And like, this isn't about money. This is absolutely not about money. It's just I'm feeling like even if I'm able to get $5,000 to put a lawyer on retainer, it's. And Tim's already made it clear to my family. He's been indirectly talking to my family, who's been relaying messages to me. At this point, he's blocked everyone in my family because they're all mad at him for what he did. But at the start of this, oh man!
Do you realize it's very hard for people to stomach that this isn't about money? I got to be honest with you. I'd want money if I were you.
Well,
I'd want if that thing went. If I was incorporated company. Right? And they took the name, the assets, the email, the domain, kept everything, and then incorporated a different state with the say maybe cut me out. You're dead, and that thing weighed $1.2 million. I think you have every right to say that you want money. I mean, there's nothing wrong. When you say it's not about money, it might come off as being disingenuous. I know what you're trying to say. You still love your brother and everything, but I mean, clearly this is about money.
No, I don't love my brother. I'm not saying that.
Oh.
What I'm saying is, like, when they raised the 1.2, that has nothing, 1.2 million, that's nothing to do with it. My issue is that in 2017, Tim convinced me to drop everything I was doing, move out of my house, and move to New Jersey to bring him into Submersed.
Yeah. 2
years after that, everything was taken from me. I was cut out, and I had wasted 2 years of my life. And in my opinion, that whole time it was hell because I had no friends out there. When I was doing my Reactor vlog,
I know. I remember you were telling me about it back then. That you didn't like
this. I had
because it wasn't far from where I grew up, and it can be rough not knowing people out there. I know how it is.
When I lived in Chicago in 2017, I had friends who would help me make these Reactor videos. If I needed someone to play a bit part, walking into a 7-Eleven or something, my friends could do that. I moved to New Jersey, no friends, no one to help me with Reactor videos. And if you look at my channel, you'll notice from that point on, I ended up sitting at my computer, talking to a camera. I couldn't do the things I wanted to do, but I didn't mind, like, whatever. I'm here to do Submersed with Tim. But my biggest issue is that I wasted 2 years moving out there, hated being there. I was only there because of Submersed, and then now I have nothing.
How could anybody hate New Jersey?
That's a lot of money.
I like driving everywhere,
Sorry,
and I like finding parking.
Thank you, Davey. I do appreciate it. How could anybody hate New Jersey? I don't want to say where you guys are at, just in case somebody still lives there.
But yeah, my biggest issue is that I lost the business that I've been not only paying for 4 years, but I wasted 2 years, and I just feel like I would like to have the ability to restart where I left off, where I brought Tim in, so that I can go back to doing my own thing.
Sure.
It's just that I had put so much money into Submersed at that point that I'm starting from scratch now.
Yeah.
And it really sucks.
Well, if I could compare it to anything, what it feels like to me, and this is from the information, is like, I see this time, girl marries a guy while he's going to school. She's bringing all the money with her waitresses, and then, he starts making money. He starts making tons of money for for the 4 years that she was paying the rent in the shit house. That's a lot of
money, I guess.
He gets his job as a lawyer. He starts making tons of dough and drops her like a bad fucking habit. Yeah. It sounds like a story like that. And then normally the courts do see in the women's like, yeah, look, he was paying the rent while you were getting this degree, and that's the only reason you're rich. I could see how you could come to that, assuming everything you're telling me is on the level. All right. And I mean, look, here's the thing. They don't even deny it. Quartering didn't deny it. They changed it without you. That's a fact. This is an undisputable fact. People have to come to a conclusion whether that's cool or not cool. Now, in Tim's defense, he says you were a lazy sack of shit that didn't do a goddamn thing. And he kicked you out because you abused your dog. And he kicked you out because you abused your dog. That's his side of the story.
But I want to point out, that's what he's saying now. Yeah. Back in April, when he was on Reactor Law, he had nothing but great things to say about the stuff I was helping him with on Submersed.
Yeah.
That I was making a game, and he knew that. He knew that when I wasn't doing thumbnails or helping him with stuff behind the scenes, I was programming a video game. And he was actually saying, like, it's good that you're making a video game for Submersed because we have an actual argument against this Submersed game that's using the name now. You know what I mean?
See, it sounds like to me that he probably didn't mind the work. He just didn't want to. He just wanted to be a partner in any kind of.
Well, no.
So just didn't want to be a partner.
What I remember happening is his explanation was he found an investor, Bill from Mines, but Bill's father somehow knew that I was Reactor and didn't want to go into business with someone who was affiliated with Reactor, and that's his excuse for cutting me out.
I find that. He said that to you, balls to bones.
Yes. I don't have it written or anything, but that was his explanation.
You weren't that infamous on the internet. I mean, that seems a little weird.
Yeah.
Is it possible that in his mind he felt like it was some kind of danger because that they're just you actually have a very up until this you have a very positive view for a lot of people, especially just with the grade A under A thing alone. I don't see you as being sort of a dark entertainer. Not by my standards anyway. I mean, I don't know how
drinking horse cum on video isn't really something investors like to be associated with.
You did that?
What?
You did that?
Yeah, it wasn't real. But
obviously, yeah. Okay, all right. So you did some crazy stuff.
But it's crazy stuff.
Weren't you the guy that famous video where somebody tied you and Tim made that video, correct? The one where they tied the weed. Cop pulls the guy over.
That was just me by myself.
That was you by yourself.
Tim didn't.
You were on every. What was that called with the glasses? That was I forget. I forget those. They had those series of compilations. You were on a lot of those compilations.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. People were stealing a video left and right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I knew well. Years before I knew you, I was familiar with that video. In fact, I don't even think I found that wasn't real until I met you. I think you're the one that told me that was me. Yeah.
So I feel like that's part of it. Like in I believe it was 2015, early 2015 when I made that video. I had the ability to make viral videos, and that's why Tim was interested in going to business with me. When he had 150 subscribers, I was almost an equal to him. You know.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like chopped liver.
Yeah. No, that's how you feel. Now he has a different story. If Tim wants to come on, or I also said Tim could refute anything he said. I would be happy to do that in another episode. I doubt he'd come on. He's not going to come on a drama channel, but he's more than welcome to. The offer's open, and he's more than welcome to correct me or anything that may have happened here. I'd be happy to put it out. Okay, I need to get your GoFundMe, and you need to get it to me and send it to me on Discord. And just between you and me, you need to learn how to operate Discord better. Okay? You tell me a good mic. You sound like you're talking through one of those cans when I was a kid. All right, here we go. That's the one. I want to get that out there. So, if you guys want to help this suit, feel free. If you feel that Reactor's been wronged, and again, this is entirely up to you.
Yeah, I sent you the picture on Discord also.
Okay, here's the GoFundMe right there.
So the main thing I want to say
I'll put that. I'll also put that in the. I'll make sure that's in the what you call it as well.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, make it clear that I understand that Tim thinks me giving up the fight after he had already cut me out of the business. Like, yes, I did give up. I did refuse to do work for them. But I never agreed for them to cut me out before that. That was me saying, whatever, man, like, I'm not going to fight you.
Yeah, you didn't.
It's not me saying I hereby relinquish my claim.
It does with your story. This now sounds like to me, and I'm going to help you out on this one, that you're giving up on the Submersed that is now worthless. or would become worthless.
Well, no,
Yeah.
okay, and that's another thing I need to explain.
Because there's two subverts. That's the important part.
Tim had convinced me that, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't know much about law, so I actually believed him when he said that he made a new corporation and I was an owner, and that was the end of it. But when they took all the social media from Submersed and moved it over to the other corporation, they couldn't take the domain name because I didn't have that linked to a business email account. It was linked to my personal account. So I was still the owner of the domain name, and that was all I had left. And and I want to point out they were still using business emails from that domain name for their new corporation that I didn't own.
So is that what you're saying here when you say you can have Submersed.net if you want it? I just have the domain, you can have it because it's worthless?
Yeah, well, shit. You know, we worked on building the Submersed YouTube channel for the past 6 months or a year and a half, and now because Emily wasn't posting any of the website and we kind of neglected the website, I had it fully operational. I was paying every month to operate it, but nobody was posting content to it, which was Emily's job, and she never did it.
Okay.
But I never argued it. Once they started making money from the mines paying them to make videos, I was just happy that the business I started that brought them into was now being funded and making regular content, and it was doing well. And yeah.
Yeah, well, I really wish you the best. I mean, that it seems awful rough, and I really wish you guys could get together and fix this shit, because it's awful to see brothers fight this way. But you know, I get where you're coming from, you know, and in a sense, and that's assuming that I wasn't there. I mean, if you weren't working as hard as he says, I get where he's coming from too. But I don't know that. I don't know that you weren't working for it. That's what he claims, but I do know that you're a part of a company that you incorporated between the three of you called Submersed, and they want to made another one, make sure you weren't a part of it. That's a fact. That is an undeniable fact, and I mean, I feel bad for you, Chris. I'll be perfectly honest.
Hey, I also want to point out, if you own a business, you don't have to do anything for that business to be an owner.
I see. Yeah. Oh, no.
The other owners can work their ass off, and you are still an owner. That's irrelevant. So I did do work, but that's an irrelevant point that they're making. But what I do want to say is, if I'm wrong, Tim would have a signed document from me saying that I relinquish my claim to.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly this screenshot isn't a signed document saying you're relinquishing anything.
Yeah, it's after the fact Facebook messages that he's using to prove it that he could beat me in court, which is not going to happen.
Yeah. But he also wanted to make clear, though, that he has given you money, that he is generous. It just you weren't going to be a part of the new Submersed because that he couldn't rely on you in a worker, but he'd be happy to support you with any other project.
I've never asked him for money that wasn't for Submersed or other things. I've borrowed money from him before, and he's actually volunteered money to me before. Like, hey, can you
paid for the dog?
Go buy this from Walmart, and then say the thing costs $80. He's like, I put $100 in your account. Like, yeah, sure, man. And I'll go and buy something for him at Walmart. It's like stuff like that. But I never said, hey, Tim, can I get $5,000 a month, or can I get $5,000 for this? Hey, Tim, I drove you to New York City, and you said you'd pay me for gas. Can I get $40? There
is another thing that I did almost forget. Did you go to your brother and try? I can't put this up there. It said this is I guess an email. I'm at risk for COVID because my chronic bronchitis, and I'm trying to figure out a way I can quarantine, but I'm broke and screwed. I wanted to ask you for the Submersed thing for $20K, so I go grab supplies and get the fuck out of Chicago. Call me on the phone, something please. You asked him for $20K for the COVID situation, or to settle? I mean, I'm a little confused by that.
Read the title too.
Okay, let me see. Sure.
Just for context.
Yeah, sure. I will do what I got to do. Let's see. Any chance we could squash this? So, and you can help me survive.
Yeah, so
that's a lot
of
basically squash this to help me survive. Okay.
So when the whole COVID-19 thing started, and you even sent me a message saying, "Hey, dude, this is really bad. You probably shouldn't be fighting with your family right now." Stuff like that. I agreed with you, and I was like, "Yeah, like, dude, this is bad. Like, if one of us gets sick and ends up in the hospital, it's some scary shit. And I don't care about Tim stealing a business from me over his life. But
Wow.
I up to that point, I felt really
That's a
really
lot of money,
difficult
I
for
guess,
me to
for
like
a person of
go
color.
public with this
Thank you, KX.
and continue with it because it sucks. Like I don't want to hurt Tim.
Sure.
But so I was having trouble. I was fighting myself on whether I should tell anyone what he did to me. And
Well, I know
I
that.
realized,
Look, I know that's true, and I could back you up on this. I told you not to do
Yeah.
this in January. You didn't do it. I told you 2 weeks ago because I thought Tim was the only person. I still think he's the only person that's not scaring the shit out of everybody and fear mongering over the COVID virus. If you could please hold off on this.
Yeah.
Because
So-
I think the work that Tim's doing is very, very fucking important when it comes to sanity on reporting.
So-
and you didn't do
Yeah,
it.
so-
You
No, no,
definitely.
so-
I'm
I was
testifying
totally
in your
going to do it, but
I'm
then I
testifying in your
realized-
behalf, Chris. I'm testifying in your behalf. I know you didn't do this overnight. Because I talked to you in January. I talked to you 2 weeks ago. Told you not to do it,
Yeah.
and you said you weren't going to do it. What
Yeah,
changed? What changed between 2 weeks ago and now?
So I sent him that email saying, because I did have chronic bronchitis as a kid,
Yeah.
and I am unable to quarantine, because I live with roommates and there's nothing I can do to fully protect myself.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, I feel really bad that I could hurt Tim over all this, but I realized maybe I could use this situation to see if Tim gave a shit if I was at risk of dying from this. So I sent him, can we drop it to 20K? Give me 20K. Let's end this. It's, there's people dying all over the place. I don't want to fight you. Just give me 20K for the 33% that you stole from me.
Okay.
And we can end this. Like, it's not a good time to be, taking family for granted.
Okay. So you're going to take that money. You're going to take that money and call it even.
Do you care if I die, Tim? Do you care if I die? Will you give me what I'm owed? Tim knows for a fact I started Submersed. He knows that he incorporated it without me, and I hope he knows it's illegal. It'd be insane if he didn't. And does he care if I die? And
yeah, but see, that's another. People could take that.
That gave me the confidence I needed to not give a shit about Tim.
You could take that a couple different ways, though. I mean, you could take it as like, yeah, I'm desperate, and you also could take it like I'm kind of pulling on his heartstrings to squeeze 20K out of him. I mean, it's two different ways.
I wasn't squeezing it. I was hoping to end it. I was hoping, like this.
All right, we're even.
Shit is terrible.
We're even.
I don't want to fight with him.
Right, what you're
Just
seeing
give
on
me
the screen
something,
right
dude.
now is, he's excuse me, Chris is clearly working for Submersed. He's obviously making a thumbnail. Emily's in there, Tim's in there, the whole nine. Okay, I just want to get that out there that you had worked on it. And I think that's it. If there's anything,
I want to point out that's the same day. That thumbnail.
Okay.
And I have other screenshots of group chats where I'm doing
6-5.
work.
Okay, so that's
the
you
day
weren't
that
doing
they incorporated
anything.
without me
You hadn't
behind
done
my back.
anything in 6 months, but yet here you are doing a thumbnail on the
day
5th.
that they cut me out.
Okay,
And
so
now
they cut you
reporter is saying I wasn't doing
out
anything.
on June 5th, the same
Yes.
day you were working on the project, and then they would
Yes.
tell you we didn't include you because you weren't working. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay, that's
And
what you're
my point.
claiming.
And nobody's listening to me. Everyone's like, but he didn't do anything for 6 months. He played nothing but video games. Like, dude, I can't tweet this to every individual person.
You're saying that's bullshit. That Tim's not telling the truth. That's what you're saying, correct?
Well,
See,
I'm saying
this is a big he said, she said situation.
There's literally a video of Tim saying that I do stuff behind the scenes,
Okay.
and that I have a right to the trademark and blah blah blah. I don't understand how the video isn't good enough for anyone.
Because the truth doesn't matter when you're going up against a big YouTuber.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And
Believe me,
his
I know.
friends.
I can't feed my family. I know exactly what you're talking about. All right. Yeah, and I'm looking. All right, this is the day it was incorporated. I can show. Oh, wait a minute. No, there's addresses on here.
No. It's just government addresses
So
though.
they're
I
not
blocked
doxing
out the.
anybody. I always want to make sure. Okay,
Yeah.
these are business agent, resident address, none, agent mailing address. All right, none of this. All right, it's all the same place. Just
Yeah, it's just
okay,
like
okay.
the
All right.
incorporation
I'm not-
address
I'm
and
not-
stuff.
What about the one in Norwalk? What's that? Is that that's business address too?
No, see, this is the corporation they made without me, and then I'll show you this one.
Yeah,
is
but I'm seeing addresses on here that aren't censored, so I don't want to dox anybody's house. Is what my concern is here, but I can verify. I am looking at this, and the date is.
And you can go to my Twitter.
Show me the date. You go to your Twitter. I'll put your Twitter. Twitter's already public. I don't give a shit. But I got to be careful here because this This makes people. Yes, this says June 5th. I'm
The day that I made that
I'm
thumbnail.
talking about Tim Pool, Emily Mommy, William Ottman have incorporated Subverse on the 5th, and up here, I'm seeing that, and up here, oh, there it is. Too late now. And let's see. Let me fix this. Preview editor. I should have gotten rid of that stupid thing. It's too small. Actually, it's too small for anybody to see. All right. So that's okay. There we go. Yes. And this is also the same day. You're working for them. You're making the thumbnail. And this is the same day they incorporated without you. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had no idea at that point in time. And I continued to pay bills. And when I found out, I was livid. And I deleted business emails. And that's when the argument on Facebook started that I posted on Twitter. I posted like our entire conversation from June 4th, just to show that from June 4th until when I started, fighting Tim, there was no mention. The only thing you'll see is him saying, we sent you the Subverse script, or me saying, okay, this is the G Suite monthly financials that I'm paying. It's like just showing that I'm still a part of the business. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate I appreciate you answering all my questions.
Yeah, I hope I'm not forgetting.
I hope I hope you feel like I gave you a fair shake.
My
experience with these things, if you do a really, really good job, both people hate you, which I don't want. I do want to still be a friend. But when it comes to this is my job, and I told your brother that today. I am a bottom of the barrel. I am in the bottom of the barrel gossip tea. A drama channel, but I do have a bit of a code of honor, and I'm really trying to do this the best I could and get your story out there, but also be fair.
Any argument that Tim makes, so I have absolutely no problem.
Yeah, I have a great respect for your brother. I think his content is amazing, and I think it's important, especially now with the coronavirus. And I've always expressed that I was a big fan. And your brother might. Just to make sure, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. My interactions with your brother have always been nothing but friendly, and sometimes actually really helpful. So I just want to leave it at that. I did the best I could with what I had. It's not that easy. All right, man. I think we're going to close it out and let people decide for themselves. And again, it's in the description box below. If you'd like to help Tim out, or excuse me, Chris, if you'd like to sell Chris out, Chris Pool Reactor with his lawsuit, you're more than welcome to donate it below so he can get a retainer. I advise you to take in all the information and come to that decision here, there, and absolutely anywhere. So I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much. News team, stay on alert, because I'm going to be heading there real soon. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you Sunday, 3 p.m.
This is the almighty infinite, independent excellence. Devil fighting, rebel titan, weed smoking alchemist. Fake identities, okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. Running with these Wolverines, okay, you about to catch a storm. I ain't never been a liar, got tired of niggas playing me. Head in my legs like she about to catch a pedigree. Chi-town to King's home, slapping fives, black stones. 6 mile to danger zones, bullets look like waffle cones. Folk affiliated to evolution of Machiavelli. Don't make me lead them eagles to you like I'm Chip Kelly. They feel my struggle, I express it through my hip hop. I'm about to make it hard to breathe, here's a headline.